to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a session that I did for a gentleman that wanted to increase his mental toughness. Now, mental toughness, I think, is a very useful resource. I think a lot of people it doesn't take a lot for them to change their emotional state. You know, that could be an argument, or, you know, something as simple as someone cuts them up in traffic, or, you know, maybe a comment on social media is enough to kind of make people feel miserable, insecure, or anxious. So in this session, what you're going to hear is me working with a gentleman to increase his mental toughness, which by, you know, the language used from this session will increase your own mental toughness. And I asked him before the session, as part of a fact-find call, who did he consider, out of everyone in the world, someone that he would consider mentally tough. And the person that he mentioned was a guy called David Goggins, who is a former Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, elite athlete, long-distance runner. And I've seen a few of his interviews on the likes of Joe Rogan and various other motivational videos online, and he is a very mentally tough guy. In fact, for the actual session with the client, I actually read the book Can't Hurt Me, which is his autobiography of how he went through adversity to accomplish incredible things. He has the world record for the amount of chin-ups that he does, you know, has run ultra marathons, you know, insane accomplishments, but it comes from a particular philosophy that he created. And one of those things is the 40% rule. So his philosophy is that at the point where you feel that you have nothing left, that you're at the absolute limit, then actually you're only at 40% and there is a lot more left in the tank. So that's one of his ideas. But there's lots of other ideas. And for people that are familiar with David Goggins, you'll get some of those references in this hypnosis session. But even if you don't know who David Goggins is, this is still a great episode for you to listen to if you want to increase your mental toughness. So listen with an open mind. There'll be a minute or so worth of relaxing music before the hypnosis kicks in. So just switch off any devices that might distract you, find a relaxing place, and enjoy. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, just imagine that you're breathing in an overall feeling of calm, tranquility, and relaxation. As you breathe in, just get an overall sense that you're breathing in something good, something resourceful. And as you breathe out, just imagine that you're breathing out any tension, any stress, any anxiety. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine that you're somewhere outside. You're outside in nature. And there is the most comfortable chair that you've ever seen. And just imagine getting on that chair, sinking into the chair with an overall sense of relaxation. You're looking around in nature, seeing perhaps the trees around you, perhaps the sky, perhaps the clouds in the sky. And all I want you to do right now is become aware. Become aware of your own body weight sinking into that chair. Take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, just close those eyes. Close those eyes and feel an overwhelming sense of calm, relaxation, and tranquility. Sinking into the chair, feeling deeply, deeply relaxed out in nature as you breathe in that clean, fresh air that can only come from when you're outside in nature. Just know that it's giving your body everything you need to release any and all tension, taking you deeper and deeper relaxed. And the more relaxed that you become, isn't it interesting that you can just effortlessly breathe deeper? And the deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become, and the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And because you're breathing in a sense of relaxation and calm, the deeper breaths you take, the more relaxed, the more calm you become. Every single part of your body is going deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to imagine that you're about to fall asleep in this chair, and then just have the ability to go wherever you need to in your own imagination. Your imagination has the ability to go through time, backwards in time, forwards in time, to any place on the entire planet. So allow that to happen now. 5, getting sleepier and sleepier. 4, getting deeper and deeper relaxed, feeling like you want to yawn. 3, just feeling like you're about to go to sleep. 2, and then 1, and falling asleep on that chair. And now your imagination can do what it wants. It can rise up above you, see yourself in nature on that chair, fast asleep, completely and totally relaxed. And now your imagination has the ability to go anywhere. And I want you to go back to a particular place in time. And this will be a time way back, perhaps in a tough neighborhood. A place, and I want you to follow a boy that looks vulnerable, a boy that looks weak, a boy that is clearly experiencing a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, a lot of difficulties, perhaps from growing up in a particular neighborhood with particular parents. And I want you to see, like an observer, what he experienced. Perhaps you can even encounter what was faced inside that family home. Maybe abuse, maybe verbal criticism. And I want you to see what it did to that child. Because for the average child, they would take that and it would shape their own beliefs about their value. It would change their beliefs about their worth, about what they are capable of in life. And I want you to follow that child experiencing that feeling of being not good enough, being mistreated, and see where it took him throughout school and throughout his teenage years. And I want you to see that as he got older, there was this overriding attempt to just fit in. This approach of just following the path of least resistance, doing whatever was necessary to kind of seem cool or just kind of fit in, but knowing deep down that that wasn't who he was. And you're just an observer seeing this happen. And I want you to see as time went on that actually that desire for comfort, that desire to avoid any form of pain, any kind of suffering, led to choices based on comfort. The food that was being consumed, the drinks that were being consumed, enabled this boy to turn into a teenager, to turn into a man, where this man was significantly overweight. And I want you to see this man being significantly overweight, approaching 300 pounds. That's right. Now, 300 pounds is a very significant weight for this particular person. It's bigger than the frame is designed. And I want you to see this man going into a van, a truck, and he is a cockroach exterminator, and he is going from house to house, and all he's doing is trying to rid these houses of pests. And in doing so, he is living a life that is mundane, a boring life. There is no physical challenge there. There is no mental challenge. It is just doing what is necessary simply to earn some money to pay a few bills. And you're witnessing this. You're witnessing this as some silent observer, just observing what's happening. But I want you to notice that something happens inside the mind of this individual where a switch is clicked. And that switch really encourages this individual to believe at some level that he is able to become a Navy SEAL. But he is overweight. And I want you to see that he starts approaching different recruiters for the Navy SEALs. And I want you to see that each and every time he attempts to sign up or be recruited for the Navy SEALs, each and every time he is rejected. I want you to see that he is told he is too fat, too overweight, that he doesn't have what it takes, that he doesn't have the ability. And at that point, I want you to imagine climbing into that overweight person, being rejected again and again and again. But I want you to pay attention to the inner dialogue. The inner dialogue is not accepting of that. The inner dialogue is asking a different question. And that question is, but what if I could? What if I could lose the weight required in order to become a Navy SEAL? What if I could lose the weight, get accepted, and then pass through that week of hell? Notice that the thought process mismatches with the situation of that individual. And I want you to pop back out and then see what happened. See what happened as this individual goes to extreme lengths to lose that weight. To begin with, just trying jogging. But because he's so heavy, covered in aches, pains, can only do so much. But then notice the facial expressions, notice that inner desire to keep going. Day after day after day, doing longer and longer runs. And isn't it interesting that because so many people said that it couldn't be done, that increased the desire to make it possible? I want you to see as the day turns into a week, turns into several weeks, the body fat is coming off. And it's coming off, and I want you to see that as he loses the weight, it increases his self-belief, increases his determination. I want you to see that he loses sufficient weight to be accepted. And then I want you to fast forward in time to when there is the Hell Week for a Navy SEAL. The time where the overall commanding officers are there to try and separate the weak from the strong. Their goal is not to let everyone go through. Their goal is to separate those that are mentally weak from those that are mentally strong. And that's what they do. They set increasing challenges, physical challenges, challenges based on sleep deprivation, challenges based on the carrying certain weights, jogging for so much time, going in extreme temperatures, wet, cold. And I want you to see that some of those people don't make it. Some of those people are looking for reasons to quit, reasons and excuses. But again, I want you to climb into the mind of this individual that you're following. And this individual is David Goggins. Now, David Goggins at this point is just like any other recruit on Hell Week. But there are certain clues, even at this point in time, as to how he thinks differently from the average person. And I want you to notice that at this point, the suffering and the pain is almost a source of power. It's taking that pain and it's taking that and turning it into leverage, emotional leverage. I want you to think of the overall philosophy, even at those early stages, was that, but what if I can do this? What if I can do what can't be done? What if I get to be one of very few? As you hone in and you can really get a sense of that thought process, get a sense that as he's looking at the other people, evaluating him, he wants to show no weakness. I want you to get into that psychology, into that body of feeling all pain, feeling that suffering, but instead of retreating, seeking out even more, then in that moment, you have this philosophy that all pain is temporary. The mind game is that all pain eventually ends. And then I want you to see yourself looking at the people evaluating you, drill sergeants, commanding officers. Look into their eyes. And as you look into their eyes, I want you to have this inner idea about taking their soul. I want you to show yourself at your best with the most intense feeling of resilience and determination that you are unbreakable, that nothing can hurt you. And as you do that, see their expressions change. See that you are now invincible. You are the one that is strong, and it is they that is weak. And I want you to feel that you are taking their soul. I want you to fast forward now. Fast forward perhaps years into the future, where you just decide that you're going to run and run and run. And I want you to feel like you're entering a tournament that is for the very few. A race that very few people are even eligible. And I want you to imagine that this is such an extreme long distance. Now, very few people are able to run a marathon without experiencing intense amounts of pain and recovery. But I want you to imagine that you're running a race, the Badwater Ultra Marathon, the world's toughest foot race, 135 miles. And I want you to feel that you're in that body running and running. And I want you to feel that you have nothing left. But the race isn't finished yet, but you feel in pain, physical pain. You feel exhausted. You feel like there are injuries. And I want you to feel at this point where you have absolutely nothing left, that a different idea pops into your head. This idea that you have faced pain before. I want you to go into your own cookie jar of accomplishments, think back to all the times where you faced massive pain. You were facing the abyss and you were able to go through that. And now I want you to think that even when you feel like you've got nothing left, an idea pops into your head that you are only at 40% of your limitation. That you have so much left in the tank if only you persist. And persist you do. You keep running. You keep running. You keep focused on what you want to do. And you keep going forward. And eventually you pass the finish line. And at that point, it's okay to say that you have nothing left. All of this running, all of this preparation, I want you to feel what it's like to feel to have mental toughness. I want you to go deep into this person that you're inhabiting right now. And I want you to take their resilience, their mental toughness, their beliefs and attitudes. And there is a part within you right now, perhaps a part that loves challenges, perhaps a part that knows that you need to go outside of your comfort zone in order to really grow. And that part deep in your subconscious mind is starting to absorb these qualities. Now, the qualities don't mean you have the accomplishments. Even David Goggins, as a child, hadn't accomplished anything. He was just a human being with various health issues and various psychological issues. But by forcing him out of the comfort zone, by taking on challenges, by developing a mindset of what if I can do this, enabled him to create those calluses of the mind. And I want you to feel that all the qualities that David Goggins that you are inhabiting right now also belong in you. And all I want you to do is to shift your perspective out of this body into your own body. This is your own body, but I want you to see yourself 1 week in the future. 1 week of living with these resources, that part within you that is desperate to grow, desperate to see what you're made of, desperate to become the very best version of you. That part now has these qualities. And I want you to see, for the last week, you've been getting up early, going for runs, stretching, using your body, and pushing further than you've ever been before. Your goal is not to settle for excuses, limitations, but to push further than you've ever been before. See yourself over the next weeks and months setting bigger and bigger challenges, facing the very toughest, the limitations or perceived limitations of what it's possible for you to do, and decide that that is only the beginning. And I want you to see, as your future pans out, that there are different versions of you. There is a version of you that was always looking to avoid challenges, take the path of least resistance. And then there was this other version of you, the part where all the qualities that exist in David Goggins also exist in you. And that version of you was able to consistently say yes to things that most people to say no to become uncommon among uncommon men. That is your future also. And decide right now which future you want. The future of comfort, the future of avoidance, the future of being just a pale comparison of the version you can be, or the version of you that is not afraid to take on challenges, that sees reward in discomfort, that wants to see what you're really made of. And as you say yes to that version, the version that you truly do want to become, you enjoy knowing that you've planted a seed deep in your subconscious mind that will grow, and will only grow when you nurture it. Nurture it by spending more and more time out of your comfort zone, taking pride in discipline, determination, resilience, becoming unbreakable, developing mental toughness, making those calluses on your mind, and becoming the very best version of you. In a few moments' time, I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken with a feeling of freshness, a feeling of positivity, a feeling of mental toughness, but also excitement as to what the future could be and will be for you. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.